Good evening, everyone. It's been a long day, but it's also been a good day. I think it's time to summarize some of the learnings that we've had. We've seen some nice product demos, and we've had some very interesting panels. Let's talk for a moment just about some of the tech we saw in the product demos. We've seen that the data management stuff has really reached maturity. There's a lot of ways to manage, achieve the data governance goals that you've been aiming for all this time with the help of very mature tools. But very exciting development now is that these language models that have only cropped up a couple of months ago are readily accessible to us lay people, even though we're not called Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, or so forth. We saw, for example, today, somebody training a language model locally, which is something that I think is going to happen everywhere. Don't underestimate exactly how quickly and how soon these models will affect us. It's not even just about chatting or searching for things. It's about cataloging information and being able to act on it in a very specific way. This is something that we're going to be seeing. This is my big prediction for the coming 6 months specifically. If you don't know what a vector database is, look it up. In short, a vector database is something where you put information through a language model, and instead of it spitting out text, it spits out an internal representation of the text and saves it in a database. So if you want to search for something later, let's say you search for animal that barks, you will still find dog, even though the words themselves don't match, because the internal representations, according to the language models, match very much, which allows incredible things to be done. One of the projects that I'm involved in healthcare uses this approach, so I'm pretty excited about it. What we've been seeing here from the panels is a diverse range of opinions on everything from how much should be in the cloud to how much should be locally and that kind of thing. But really, the sentiment of this event today has been that the technology will sort itself out. It's not entirely clear if that's because people think that the value of the things that we're working on is so great that any cost can be borne by that value itself, or if it's because people are overly optimistic now that things are looking very fun with these large language models. It's not entirely evident from that, because it's not exactly like the technology has gotten easier overnight in the same way large language models have become publicized overnight. And to be clear, the thing about large language models is this isn't necessarily something that just happened in November. It's simply that OpenAI did a great entrepreneurial move, which is they published a very nice user interface to a large language model. There are a lot of people here that have understood how representation learning worked before that and where it was headed. And now people are starting to get savvy about where it's headed in the coming months. We spoke here about ethics and all these kinds of things, and there's a very large sort of noise in the ether on LinkedIn at these events about questions relating, or at least seemingly relating to AI, such as ethics and whatnot. And as we also see, there are no simple answers to a lot of these questions. I don't think they will be resolved before the applications actually happen to these, with these technologies. So for instance, the example we got here earlier, whether or not you should treat an individually fairly or you should treat a group fairly if those two things are in opposition, that's a difficult question to answer, and it might not have anything to do with AI, and it might not even be a right or wrong thing, but something that you have to make a business decision on. I think these things are the types of questions that are going to be coming into the laps of decision makers very soon as the technologies enable these kinds of scenarios to happen very quickly. Do not underestimate exactly how quickly this change will happen. The question is, can you turn them into a competitive advantage? The optimism is palpable. I think a lot of people think that we can take action on these technologies. The buzz is really awesome here. I wish you could be here with us. We are going to stick around. It's going to be a fun evening here at Data Innovation Summit. In a couple of minutes, we're going to be hearing the chairman giving closing remarks on stage. We had representatives from Wallenberg, Google, and more on the main stage giving their keynotes today. And I think people are a little bit full of new impressions and ideas from the day. So I'm going to wrap up here in the Octagon for now. I'll be seeing you tomorrow morning bright and early, ready to rock again. And stay tuned for a couple of minutes to see the closing remarks on the main stage. I'll see you tomorrow.